Good evening and welcome to the campus of Honeoye Falls-Lima High School as we have Section 5 Class B football. Tonight's game between the visiting Palmyra-Macedon Red Raiders and the home Honeoye Falls-Lima Cougars. I'm Peter Carosa, joined alongside Steve Bradley. Steve, what sort of insight do you have in this matchup before we get started here tonight?
Peter, I'm really excited about this game. Both teams come in winning their last three. Cougars, of course, 3-0 to start the season. Palmyra-Macedon has defeated Geneva, Newark, and Mid-Lakes after a season-opening loss to Wayne. Should be a contrast in styles a little bit. I think the Cougars' offense outscoring opponents 117-6. I don't think they're going to change a thing. I look for Palmac, to probably try to grind it out a little bit on the ground, control the clock, and keep that high-powered Cougars offense off the field.
Like you said, two teams coming into tonight's game, both riding 3-game win streaks. We had a chance to talk to the head coach of the Palmac Red Raiders, Jason Miniman, and he called this matchup the immovable object versus the unstoppable force. We have two teams with very good defenses, as well as two decent offenses as well. Red Raiders averaging 216 on offense, and the Cougars averaging a blistering 367 yards per game. So we have two very balanced teams playing one another. They do, in terms of tendencies, like you mentioned, a little bit different. HFL favors that pass while the Red Raiders favor that run. How do you think the Red Raiders are going to stop this Cougar passing attack tonight?
Well, I don't know if you can stop it, but I think you'd try to slow it down. I look for them to probably bring a nickel back into play and maybe have five defenders in the backfield and make HFL maybe, John Russ said last week, we use the pass to set up the run. They might look to even have the Cougars try and have to grind it out a little bit, take them out of rhythm, and I think that's also easier said than done. I think this HFL offense is humming.
Yeah, and when the pass isn't there, you have two very good backs in Jacob Derby for the Cougars and Zachary Meacham. 6 total rushing touchdowns for the Cougars. So if you can slow down Reese Joint, then you'll have to deal with the running back. So here at HFL, just about to start the national anthem. It'll be a pre-recorded version sung by the Honeoye Falls-Lima Select Choir. So the PA addresser is announcing the home crowd. Good crowd here tonight. Some students in attendance for HFL here as everyone rises to their feet for the national anthem.
At the closed end of the stadium. And prior to our national anthem, fans, the HFL business community and HFL athletics, and a dear friend of mine also, was lost a week ago in the passing of Donna Pedisano. Donald ran a Pedisano's Bootery for decades here on Main Street, Honeoye Falls. An avid baseball
So the PA addresser is announcing the crowd and announcing the loss of local business owner Donna Pedisano, owner of a Pedisano's Bootery in the village of Honeoye Falls. They'll have a moment of silence here now.
Thank you. Fans, we'd ask that you'd all rise together and direct.
And now, without further ado, we will have the national anthem sung, pre-recorded by the Honeoye Falls-Lima Select Choir.
At the 50-yard line, HFL senior Hannah Correa will be singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,
And so with that, we are ready to get underway. Forgot to mention at the top of the broadcast that tonight is senior night. After tonight's game, the home Honeoye Falls-Lima Cougars will be honoring all seniors of tonight's game for the home team, and we will stay live to cover that. And out to midfield, we have the captains for the two teams. The sole captain of the Cougars tonight is number 4, Colt Green. For the Red Raiders, they have number 44. That's Yvonne Reynolds Diaz. Number 34. That is
Rory Sloan.
Rory Sloan, thank you.
And it looks like 88, Ashton Rowland. And interestingly enough, Peter, Logan Kuhn, number 52, coming back from an injury, is the one that's representing at the coin toss. He's going to be at linebacker tonight, and he's also was a starting lineman before getting hurt. And Palmac has had several younger players step up, but we could see him working on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, that's a situation that's kind of ever evolving. Had the opportunity to speak with the Palmac coach, Coach Minimon, before the game, and he was saying that Kuhn coming back from that injury, easing him slowly. He spoke highly of that offensive line, saying that Logan Kuhn understands that, hey, they don't need him right away. The offensive line's been playing pretty well. They've had a good relationship. So expect to see Logan Kuhn back in his normal left guard position come sectionals for the Red Raiders.
Interestingly enough, the Cougars deferred, and I think every game we've done, they've had the ball first. So the defense will be on the field first tonight, and I think that Coach Russ might be looking to get the quick stop, obviously, win the field position game, and then have the opportunity to come out in the second half with the ball and maybe get an advantage in possessions.
So for the Palmac fans, they already know that they have two very talented quarterbacks. Steve, why don't you familiarize the HFL fans with the quarterback situation for Palmac?
So Coach Miniman was very gracious, and he broke it down for us well. Quinn Nolan is a junior who also plays safety, leads the team with 2 interceptions, and Quinn has the more passing statistics, 327 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he's also run for 2 touchdowns on the ground. But with his responsibility at safety, Coach Miniman wants to work in Aiden Lanovalent, get him some more snaps, get him some more experience. He's only a sophomore, and he's got 8 carries for 4 yards and a touchdown, not a great yards per carry. And he's also thrown for a touchdown. So he wants to, send the seniors out with a great season, but also keep building his program for the future.
So here to kick off for HFL, number 21, Xavier Carbonell. He's kicking back deep to 44. That's Yvonne Reynolds Diaz. And 33, Joshua Schaefer for the Red Raiders. Teams lined up. And here comes the kick, and away we go here at HFL. High kick. Going to be fielded by the Red Raiders at about the 20-yard line. Quickly dropped. That was number 22 for Palmac, who is Daniel Hooper.
And another big special teams hit by the Cougars. Last week against Wayne, the special teams really played a huge factor in the game, forcing 2 turnovers late in the first half. And a big hit there, and making the Raiders start inside of their 30.
That kickoff brought to you by HFMP. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. So first play for Palmac is a rush by, I believe, their fullback. That's Joshua Schaefer. Picked up about 3 yards there on first down.
He did, and it looks like Coach Miniman threw us a curveball with Nolan getting the start at quarterback. So
yeah, that was something that we noticed a little bit in warm-ups, that number 3, Quinn Nolan, was seeming to get the reps with the first team. They have 2 great options. So either way, I think Palmac's comfortable with either Lent or Quinn, and they decide to go with Quinn Nolan here tonight to start. So right back, Palmac comes out in the pistol formation. And it's going to be an option play. Nolan's going to hold on to it and keep it. And he's going to be driven back by a pair of HFL Cougars, including Mitchell Bowling on the stop.
Yeah, Mitchell Bowling, and I think it was also Carson Joint there. And Cougar defense, as we mentioned, has only given up 6 points. Bowling did a great job there keeping contained, maintaining the edge, turn the play back in, and it was there to clean up. No gain for the Red Raiders. And Bulling's been a horse all year. We'll talk about him throughout the broadcast. We've got some great insight from Coach Russ on what's made him so effective.
Yeah, I believe that was Mitchell Greer, the second Cougar, who made that stop in the backfield. So it brings up 3rd and 10 for Palmac. We have a quick whistle. Going to be a timeout called by the Red Raiders. So on their first offensive possession, 3rd down situation, they take a timeout. Do you need a timeout? Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, panini salads, pizza, and more. Be sure to check out their daily specials on Facebook. So, Steve, what do you think the Red Raiders are talking about in the huddle right now? 3rd and 10 situation, first time with the football.
I think they're, kind of discussing whether they should take a chance and put it up or not. One of the great things about the HFL defense is that there are 4 senior starters in the secondary. And when you have that kind of experience, Coach Russ was talking about the, Colton Green and Andrew Childs at the corners, Jacob Derby and Mason Wanzenreed, having their experience with those safeties and those corners allows him to focus on the front 7 and allows the Cougars to play a lot of man-to-man and maybe even to put an extra man in the box. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a low-risk pass here, maybe a screen or something else, to try and get the yardage without taking a big chance deep in your own territory so early in the game.
Now, the Red Raiders do have some pretty good-sized wide receivers. Sage Hunter, 6'3", Ashton Rowland, 6'4", and Charlie Stever, he's 6'4" as well. So they do have some size when it comes to the wide receiver position, similar to HFL. Going to be interesting. They go empty set, 5 wide receiver set, trips to the bottom of your screen, doubles to the top. Looks like a passing formation for Palmac.
It does, and it looks like they've got an advantage in personnel down here to the near sideline. But he looks like there's the pressure, there's the sack.
And down goes Quinn for Palmac. Nolan Yates, the senior, makes the big play for the Cougars.
And that might need to be his new nickname, Peter, Nolan Big Play Yates. Every game that we've seen them play, he has made a big play, and that's a great stop on that first drive there.
Yeah, Cougars make a big play there on 3rd and 10. It looked like you were right. They did have that advantage to the bottom trips. Quinn never looked that way once. He seemed to be pretty set. Quinn Nolan looking to the left side of the field and gets brought down in the backfield, and that'll bring up here a punt. Jake McIntyre for the Palmac Red Raiders. Going to be a short one and takes a favorable HFL bounce. Palmac downs it at about their own 37-yard line, so the Cougars will come out here in great starting position.
Great pressure there by Zachary Meacham on the rush. I don't know if it impacted the distance on the kick, but it certainly forced the Palmac punter to that's Jake McIntyre, to maybe rush his kick a little bit. And the initial strategy for the Cougars pays off. They got their 3 and out, and they're in plus territory at the 37.
So out trots Reese Joint and this red-hot Cougar offense. They come out in a trips formation to the top of your screen. Derby shifts to Joint's right. Joint's going to hand it off to Derby, who's going to go right up the seam, and he'll get good first down yardage. Check that. He's going to be short just about a yard, so 9-yard pickup on first down for the Cougars.
But you were also right. That was a great first down yardage. You get to 2nd and 2 right there. A lot of options for the Cougars, and Coach Russ talked about the playbook and all the options they have and the communication between his assistants. Sometimes they run a basic play like that just to see how the defense will cover the receivers. 2nd
and short, you think they go deep here, Steve?
I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe Patrick Lustig.
And they go right back to Derby, who's got some good blocking, and he'll get the first down and power ahead just short of that 20-yard line. We'll call it the 21. So first down run here for HFL. So they've come out passing the ball the previous 2 games we covered, and tonight it's the ground game.
And there's 2 schools of thought there, Peter. The running game to set up the passing game, or if you run a play and they don't stop it, why not run it again until they do? And I think that was a very similar look by the Cougars. Derby's got about 16 yards on 2 carries, 8 yards a pop. You'll take that all night long as well.
So Cougars come out 1st and 10. As you can hear, the HFL cheerleaders are in attendance tonight, their first time being out here during this spring 2021 season, as we have a jet sweep here for HFL. And that's number 9, Mason Wazenreed, who's going to pick up about 6 yards here for HFL.
A good job there by Wazenreed. Rode his blockers a little bit to the edge and was able to turn it up and 6 yards on first down. We've talked a lot about this offense and being crisp, and when you have strong first downs, it gives you options on second and third, and who knows, they might be in 4-down territory if they need it here. But a little surprised they've gone 3 plays without Reese Joint putting it in the air yet.
Yeah, maybe just trying to break a tendency. They expected Palmac was going to think they were going to throw the ball, so why not run the ball? Jet sweep, that was a new one Coach Russ told us about. He still has wrinkles in his offense that he's yet to introduce, so maybe that jet sweep option is something that they're bringing out. As Reese is going to loft it up and incomplete, looking for Patrick Lustig in the left corner of the end zone for HFL, so they elect to throw it there on 2nd and 4. Is going to bring up 3rd and 4 for HFL.
And very nice coverage there by Sage Hunter of Palmac. He's a top receiver for the Red Raiders, so he knows a little bit about catching the ball on offense, and he did a great job defending that play too. And we haven't seen many people that can match up physically with Lustig, but Hunter is close at 6'3", 190.
So 3rd down for HFL. They'll elect to come out here in a trips formation to the bottom of your screen. Derby shifts to Joint's left, and he'll accept the handoff. He's going to fall ahead, but it looks like they're going to be short a yard, so it'll bring up 4th and 1 for HFL. They do have a decent field goal kicker, and Xavier Carbonell came over from the soccer team. He did try a field goal from a similar distance early in the season. That was a miss, although he did have about a 30-yard PAT attempt. That was good. They elect to go for it here on 4th down, so it'll be 4th and 1 for HFL at the 12-yard line.
And credit to the Palmac defensive line on that play. They got great penetration.
So Joint tries the hard count, and it looks like he's going to get a Red Raider to jump.
Offside defense. Cougar.
And we've seen that patience exhibited very well by the Cougars in games before, and other teams have given them penalties. When we talked to Coach Miniman last week, the Red Raiders had 13 penalties in their win over Mid Lakes, and that's not a good formula tonight. You don't want to, after being so strong and putting the Cougars in a go-for-it situation, to give them those 5 yards. Very costly right there.
Yeah, now it's 1st and goal for HFL from about the 8-yard line as Joint is in the shotgun. Derby shifts to his right, and it's going to be a quick pass and incomplete, looking towards Patrick Lustig yet again on that left side. It looked like he had his cornerback beat, but that one falls incomplete, Steve.
He did. They had the slant open there. Lustig made a good move off of the line. He was on 14. Sage Hunter again with the coverage. It wasn't the perfect timing that we've seen so often from the Cougars. It was just a little bit off schedule. The ball was low, and they couldn't make the connection.
So HFL looking to go in more of a bunch set this time on 2nd and goal. It's going to be a pitch play there to Derby, who's got the edge and the touchdown. Jacob Derby finds the Meehan Architecture end zone. It's the Cougars who strike first. 6-0 here at HFL. 6:19 left in the first quarter.
Nice 37-yard drive there by the Cougars. Established the run right out of the chute. They had a manpower advantage on the left side of the field there. Got behind those receivers who served as lead blockers, and Derby really coasted into the end zone.
So out comes Xavier Carbonell now for the point after attempt, kick up, and it is good. So Cougars jump out to a 7-0 lead, and turning point on that drive has to be that critical 4th down offsides penalty against the defense. Gave HFL another set of downs inside the goal-to-go zone, and HFL capitalizes on that Palmac mistake.
Absolutely, and this Cougar offense is too good to give second chances to. HFL actually missed on its first 2 throws tonight, which we haven't seen that very often, but they were able to recover. Penalty set them up, and the run game got them in.
So we will have another kickoff here, of course, being brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com.
And I think that's 3 for 3 for us in home games with the Cougars scoring on the opening drive. And when you have an offense as potent as HFL does, it's not good to play from behind, because when you have to take chances and catch up, this defense can capitalize, force turnovers, and we've seen 2 games get out of hand that way. So this is a key drive for Palmac.
Carbonell here for the kickoff for HFL end over end. It's going to be fielded by the Red Raiders. That's 22, Daniel Hooper.
And a nice job there by Andrew Childs, one of the starting defensive backs. He stayed in his lane, came down, and kept that to a minimum gain. So all 3 units for HFL have been very strong this year, and special teams is certainly doing its part and more.
So I do want to introduce the Red Raiders here on their second offensive possession, starting at left tackle for the Palmac Red Raiders, Aiden Lane. Left guard, Anthony Matson. Center, Dylan Dollar. Right guard, Eamon Dennison, Dennison, and right tackle, Riley Bellinger. So that is the offensive line for Palmac. We'll introduce you to their skill guys. After this play, it's a handoff here for Palmac. I believe that was number 20, Sam Wiseman.
And a nice gain there for the Raiders. Got a good push up front. Wiseman is a junior who is the second leading rusher on the team. And that's the kind of play you need on first down. If you're going to grind out 4 yards, you'll be okay.
So the starting wide receivers for the Red Raiders, number 14, Sage Hunter. For Ashton Rowland. Tight end is Charlie Stever. Fullback, Joshua Schaefer. And the pair of running backs we'll see tonight for Palmac, 44, Yvonne Reynolds-Diaz, and number 20, Sam Wiseman, who had the first down carry. Brings up 2nd and 7 for Palmac. Man in motion.
That's Roland, 88. The guy that did your depth chart goofed it up, which was me. I will take credit there. But there we go with the HFL defensive line again, Peter. Great penetration there, and putting the Palmac back in 3rd and long. So, yeah, 88 is Ashton Rowland. And the cool story about Ashton Rowland is he was a basketball player, stepped away from football for a little bit, and came back this year and has been a key contributor. He's also a member of Palmac's esports team, Peter, that won a state championship.
Awesome stuff. So we now have 3rd and we'll call it 11 for Palmac. So again, a 3rd and long facing the Red Raiders here. This is their second possession, and Cougar fans starting to make some noise here. It'll be a pass play for Nolan. He's going to step up, and he'll gain some yards, maybe 2 on that, on the quarterback keep.
And Carson Joyce down at the bottom of that pile, 56. A good job by the middle of the Cougar line and the linebackers. That's the new player that Coach Russ told us about, Mr. Geary, making a play, 44. So nice job again, the second straight 3 and out.
So Jake McIntyre for Palmac here with the punt. JT Killenbeck back, spiraling punt, going to take a bounce and be fielded by Killenbeck. He'll work out to the right side, still on his feet, up to the 40. He's got one man to beat, and he's still on his feet, and he's going to bumble into the end zone, and that's a special teams touchdown for HFL, JT Killenbeck.
What a fantastic return, Peter. He did a great job reading his blocks, just picking up the ball to keep the play alive. It cut to his right, waited, got a couple blocks, broke a couple of tackles. A couple times going down the sideline there, I thought the Raiders had a shot at him, but he managed to stay on his feet, and there it is, another huge special teams play.
So that's the first defensive touchdown, special teams touchdown for the Cougars. They find themselves now 13-0. We have the PAT here for Xavier Carbonell. He's already 1 for 1 tonight. Here's the hold. The kick is up. And it's good.
And another great start for the Cougars. I think they've had a 2-touchdown lead after the first quarter in all of their home games. You get ahead like that, it makes the game a lot easier. And Killenbeck, different people have been stepping up every game. And that was just a huge play. Great instincts on the return, and the blocking was fantastic too.
Yeah, he was just in a perfect position to play the ball on that bounce. That's such a hard thing for coaches to teach their players on special teams, especially the punt when you have a football, which is a weird shape. You never know where it's going to bounce, and for him to be in the right space to play that off the bounce, and he, took it from there.
And a lot of times all you're hoping for is for the player just to secure the ball and even maybe take a knee and not take a hit, but to take it to the house, that's just a game-changing play. That's a play that we might, at the end of the game, come back and point to as one of the keys.
So this kickoff brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. So Palmac deep here for the kickoff from Carbonell.
And I think this drive will really be critical for the Raiders to be down 14 points. I don't think they're really built for big comebacks, and this is going to be a chance for them to show what they're made of.
And Diaz struggled there on the kick. He's able to eventually reel it in and then pick up about 5-7 yards. So sets up Palmac at approximately the 19-yard line.
And Reynolds Diaz, 44, is a guy that I think that we would be seeing a lot of tonight. He's the team's leading rusher, and he's also the team's leading tackler. And Coach Miniman told us that he's a tough runner, rarely goes down on first contact. And he broke a couple tackles there and kind of recovered after stumbling to secure the ball.
So 1st and 10 for Palmac. They close everyone in, and it's going to be a handoff to, I believe that was Joshua Schaefer, the fullback, and he's tackled in the backfield. Let's take this moment to introduce you to the HFL Cougars defensive starters, starting with the DNs, Mitchell Bowling and Preston Huff. Defensive tackles, Michael Sanza and Mitchell Greer. Outside linebackers, Patrick Lustig and Zachary Meacham. Middle linebacker, Carson Joint. Cornerbacks, Colt Green and Andrew Childs. Free safety, Mason Wazenreed, and strong safety, Jacob Derby. So those are the starters here for HFL.
And Palmac came out in an interesting formation there. Number 52, Logan Kuhn, was set up as an H-back position. He has been an offensive lineman. I think the Cougars, or the Raiders, were looking to establish power and go forward, and a great play by the Cougars to minimize it to 2nd and 10.
So 2.5 left in this first quarter, and it's another run play. This time it's Diaz for Palmac, and he'll fall forward for a gain of 2, so it gets them in better field position. Still 3rd and 9, though, for the Raiders.
3rd and 9 and in desperate need of a first down. This is a time where the Red Raiders, that connection from Quinn Nolan to 14, Sage Hunter, I think that that's a matchup we need to look. Let's see where 14 is. And he is not in on this play, so they've got actually Wiseman split out wide our side here, near side. Maybe that's someplace that they'll look to go.
So Nolan operating out of the shotgun hill motion. Wiseman in on this one, who will get the pitch play, and he's going to struggle to get back to the line, but it looks like forward progress is going to give him a couple inches, and maybe he'll bring up 4th and 7 here once it's all said and done. So another 4th down here for Palmac inside their own territory, so they'll call on the services of Jake McIntyre yet again. Back deep for the Cougars, I got to imagine it's number 2, James Killenbeck again.
And in baseball, if you strike out 3 batters in an inning on 9 pitches, it's called an immaculate inning. The Cougar defense is pitching an immaculate inning here against the Raiders. They've had 9 plays and 3 3-and-outs.
So back out on the field is the HFL Cougar offense, introducing their starters on offense. Starting at left tackle, Mitchell Bowling. Left guard, Samuel Miller. Center, Carson Joint. Right tackle, Mitchell Greer. Right tackle, Charlie Kirby. Wide receivers, Patrick Lustig and Nolan Smith are on the outside. Slot guys are Colt Green and Mason Wazenreed. In the backfield, you have Derby and Meacham. And at quarterback, of course, Reese Joint. So on 1st and 10 at the Palmac 39, it's going to be a handoff for Derby. He'll pick up a solid 4 yards there.
And that might be HFL's shortest run play of the night. They have had so much success firing off the ball that why wouldn't you keep going there? It's 2nd and 7 at the 35. I don't know if they will have to snap it here. I was wondering because the wind seems to be with them, but they don't have anybody out really wide. I don't think they'll take the deep shot here, but I could be wrong. They are very good at the element of surprise.
So this should be the last play of this first quarter. It's going to be bunched to the top of your screen. And Joint's going to throw. He'll loft it up towards Nolan Smith, who had a couple steps on number 24 for the Red Raiders. That's Seth Basil. But that pass was just a little bit too far for him. As Steve mentioned, wind is currently going with the Cougar offense, so that ball certainly could have gotten caught. Incomplete pass stops the clock, so we will have one more play.
We looking at Rocket here maybe with the receiver setup with Lustig and Klinbeck right here at the bottom of the field?
Yeah, possibly. So we have a pass here to Derby, and he's going to be waiting for the signal. They're going to say he's just short one. So, yeah, we had the bunch on both sides. Receivers were tight, and it ended up being a little swing pass or wheel route, in fact, by Jacob Derby slipping out of the backfield that Joint went with.
And Jacob Derby is a good receiver. He had that long touchdown in the opener against Newark, but that just looked like the bunch was confused, the Red Raider defense, because Derby was uncovered all the way down. The big question was what he going to be able to secure the ball, because it was hanging up there a little bit for him. Made a nice adjustment, and the second question was he going to rumble in or be stopped short, and just short. But great quarter for the Cougars again, 14-0, and knocking on the door again.
So at the end of the first quarter, we do want to thank some of our sponsors here tonight, starting with Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. Also, Fly Control Services, a family-owned and operated professional pest control company serving all of Western New York and the Finger Lakes region for 4 decades. Inside or out, home or business, they help you keep the bugs away. Give them a call at 704-8329. Steve, one last tidbit on that last play we saw there for HFL. Both the inside wide receivers ran 5-yard crossing routes, might have played into the confusion of that Palmac defense, as HFL finds themselves 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. First play here in the second quarter of play. HFL already leading 14-0 over Palmac. You think they run or pass here on first down?
I think we're going to see the run. The point of attack, the Cougars have been blowing the Red Raiders off the ball, and I think that it looks like Derby again.
So Joint will pitch out to Derby, and Steve's got it right. Touchdown Cougars. Derby finds the Meehan Architecture end zone yet again tonight.
He did, and when you're that close, the blind squirrel found an acorn with my play call, but Derby really hasn't been slowed down at all tonight, and first and goal, knocking like that. You got to give the big boys up front, let them eat, and let Derby eat too.
For me, the thing that I thought gave it away the most was the fact that Reese Joint was under center. We never see him under center. In fact, most high schools have moved away from having guys under center, as Carbonell's extra point attempt is up and good. So 21-0. And with Joint under center, you had to expect that they were probably gonna run the ball in a formation like that. Pitch play to the left results in Derby scoring another touchdown here tonight. And Cougars find themselves up 21-0 with 11:55 left in this second quarter. Steve, Cougars in familiar territory so far?
They are, and every week when we talk, we think, this game is going to be a better game than the one we've seen before. And the Cougars just come out firing on all cylinders, and really, for all they've been through this season, with the pause and coming back and the short preparation schedule, has not affected them one bit. They come out and they're ready to play each and every week, which I think is a tribute to the players and Coach John Russ and his staff.
So kickoff here for the Cougars brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com as the sun starts to set here in Western New York, and we have another kickoff that's going to be short bounce before Diaz pounces on it. He's still up on his feet. He broke a tackle, and he's going to be brought out of bounds just about at the 40-yard line. So a nice return there for Pal-Mac. Sets him up in, I believe, their best starting field position of the night.
Absolutely, and their best play of the night. And it started out a little bit conspicuous with the ball bouncing around down there. It is a live ball. If HFL is to get there first and cover it, they would have it. But Reynolds Diaz made a good play not only to get the ball but to move forward, and we saw some of that tough running that Coach Miniman talked about. He's not the biggest guy. I believe he's about 5'7", 160, but he was able to break a couple of tackles and get the Cougars out near their 40.
So 1st and 10 for Pal-Mac. It's a pass play. Nice pitch and catch there between Nolan Quinn and number 88, Ashton Rowland.
Yep, that the Cougars or the Raiders, I think, are going to need to put the ball in the air here if they want to narrow the gap. That's their best first down play and their best offensive play. So maybe second quarter is going to bring some momentum their way.
So after the 4-yard pickup through the air on first down, Pal-Mac comes back out from the huddle, from the shotgun. Quinn's going to throw again, and that was dangerous. He kind of just tossed that one up, and there was Colt Green in the vicinity for the Cougars. He was able to break the block that he was engaged with and get a couple, it looked like both hands on it. It was actually the wide receiver for Pal-Mac who was playing defense there.
And that's the advantage sometimes on these teams where players play on both sides of the ball, but Colt Green made a great read there, got to the ball and broke it up, and if he would have gotten his hands on that ball, it could have been 6 the other way.
So now the Raiders find themselves in a 3rd down situation. They need 6 to get a new set of downs. Cougars look like they may be showing blitz. They do, and down goes Quinn Nolan. He's going to be sacked in the backfield.
Wow, what a rush there by the Cougar front four. Maybe that was Preston Huff that got him 75?
Yeah, hard to tell with the jerseys story of this season so far, but I believe, yeah, that was 75 for Preston Huff. The Cougars brought some additional blitzers on the far side there, and Huff's able to get to Nolan there for the Red Raiders to bring out McIntyre yet again. End over end kick takes a Pal-Mac bounce, and it's ultimately going to go out, so it prevents Killenbeck from returning that one, and Cougars are going to be pinned back at about their own 34-yard line, it looks like.
Yeah, and this will be actually HFL's worst starting field position of the game on their actually totally 3 possessions because they had the 1 special teams touchdown. But when you're almost nearing the halfway point in the first half, and your worst starting field position is your own 34, it's been a good game for you.
So Cougars come out of the huddle here, 1st and 10, as we already mentioned, their own 34-yard line. Going bunch, receiver set to the top of your screen. Joint's going to roll out to his right, going to shuffle pass it down low to Colt Green, and that was quickly sniffed out by the Raider defense.
Yeah, that was a really good defensive play there by the defensive end, number 33, Joshua Schaefer. They looked to do that little inside pass to Green, and Schaefer was there to meet him. The safe thing about that play is it is a pass, so if the ball does come loose, it's not a fumble, but it's still a great tackle in the backfield and negative yardage.
So after the loss of 1 on first down for HFL, they'll come back out looking in trips. Reese Joint gonna toss it up, looking at Nolan Smith, and
he caught it twice, I think, Peter. He got his hands on it, and then he was able to haul it in. And Nolan Smith had the catch of the week last night on Wham TV because of the catch he had last week against Wayne. And there it is again, another magical circus catch.
Excellent concentration there exhibited by Nolan Smith. Gets a nice, call it 25-yard gain there for HFL.
And believe it or not, that's the Cougars' first completion of the game, and it's a pretty big one. It flips the field.
And after that, Pal Mac elects to take a timeout. Do you need a timeout? Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, paninis, salads, pizza, and more. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials.
So, Peter, an interesting note about this game is both coaches are coaching at their alma maters. Coach Russ, we know, is a 2002 HFL graduate. Coach Miniman is a 1998 Pal Mac graduate. Played actually for athletic director Tom Schmant over there. Went away to college at University of Louisville. Was on a team coached by John L. Smith. Went in the Marines for 9 years. And actually, after working in the private sector, went over to Victor, was on the staff with the Blue Devils. And Coach Schmant called him back about 6 years ago and says, hey, you want to come home? He decided he would, and he started working with the lower levels because the Pal Mac numbers were down, and he's helped build this program up. The roster size is huge. There's no JV team this year, so there's some young players. They carry a roster of about 50. There's about 100 kids in the program, and a lot of it is the work done on the ground level. So when people see that he's a first-year coach, that may be a bit misleading because he has been with these seniors for 6 years.
Yeah, I think he's certainly seen the fruits of his labor here now, being with the same group of guys from modified to varsity. They can now see the benefits of building up the younger programs. Fun fact, not only are both these head coaches coaching at their alma maters, but they also spent time at D1 programs playing football. You already mentioned Miniman spending time at Louisville. Coach Russ, of course, playing at University of Delaware.
The Blue Hens.
So after the timeout, Cougars come out 1st and 10 at the Pal Mac 40-yard line. Joint's going to keep it here. Run to his right. Gets a nice downfield block. And he'll fall out of bounds, and that's going to be a first down pickup.
I thought that was a really good call right there. HFL has been pounding it with Derby. They finally connected over the top. And when Joint decided to keep the ball in the read there, he had the corner and a nice gain. So that's a good mix right there.
Yeah, got to give credit to number 10, Benjamin Carson, for the Cougars, who had that nice downfield block that allowed Joint to skirt out of bounds without too much trouble.
And the blocking by the receivers has been key for the Cougars all season. Sometimes they're blocking for the running back, sometimes they're blocking for the quarterbacks, and sometimes they're blocking for each other. And that is so key in getting the extra yardage and the chunk plays that are becoming almost trademark plays for HFL this season.
So another 1st and 10 for HFL. Reese Joint looking to dab up with Derby, and he was not having it there. Didn't complete the handshake. Trips to the top of your screen here. It's going to be a screen pass to Green, who's got the outside edge. And he's going to be shoved out after he picks up the first down.
And 2 more key blocks by the receivers. Both Lustig and Wanzenreen had key blocks there. And when Green curled in and caught the ball, there was an opportunity that wasn't going to be a big play. He was able to read his blocks, get good blocks, and another first down. And then the Cougars are knocking again down at the 16, 1st and goal. No, first and goal.
First and 10.
Yeah, got to get those binoculars back next week.
Looks like we even had a penalty potentially after the play. I didn't catch exactly what it was. I got to think it was a personal foul. It looked like potential late hit out of bounds by a Raider player that's going to push the ball half the distance. And now, you knew, Steve, it is 1st and goal from, I believe, the 8-yard line here for HFL.
So sometimes when you're wrong, you're right.
A broken clock is right twice a day, so could have been one of those instances. As we have HFL from the gun, handing off. Derby powering ahead, and that's another touchdown for the Cougars. Derby finds the Meehan Architecture end zone for the 3rd time tonight as HFL rolls out to a 27-0 lead here. 7:56 left in the second quarter.
It's turning into the Jacob Derby show tonight, Peter. We've seen Reese Joint put up like video game-like numbers the last couple of weeks. Now Jacob getting a lot of carries tonight. Maybe HFL is getting some more run of the run game on tape, and it's ultra effective.
And that kick no good. Looked like potentially the player on the far side there might have had a hand on that kick. In any case, Cougar score stays at 27 points. And yeah, it's been the Jacob Derby show, a little reminiscent of week 1 where he had a plethora of touchdowns in that first HFL victory. That final was, of course, 34-0 at Newark.
And Peter, I don't think it's too early to start thinking about what the ramifications of this game will mean if HFL is able to keep moving forward. Believe it or not, their record will go to 5-0 in due time. The Geneva program has shut down, so next week's game is going to be a forfeit, and that will really set the Cougars up nice for sectionals. Batavia's playing Mid Lakes tonight. We don't have a score, but the first key is always to get in, and continuing like this with key, not that we didn't think the Cougars were going to make it, but they will be there, and then thoughts can start turning until whatever the next game is, and then sectional play.
This kickoff brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. As Reynolds Diaz fields that one out to about the 28-yard line. So back out comes the Palmac offense.
And that's another nice return by Reynolds Diaz. He's one of the top players for Palmac. And it's been a rough start for them, obviously, but you got to start by making small plays until and just trying to build and be positive, and that's 2 good kickoff returns in a row.
Now, I know we're early here in the second quarter. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast that the Red Raiders do have 2 very good quarterbacks that they tend to flip out regularly. Quid Nolan still in there for the Red Raiders, but you got to think, nothing against him, how he's played so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if Aiden Lett maybe comes in here just to try and provide a spark for this offense that just can't seem to get it going as they lose yards on first down again.
I agree, and plus Nolan is a starter on defense, so you got to manage the load a little bit, especially in this short season. And Palmac finishes the season with the Cougars and then Batavia next week. So at some point you have to take a look at the big picture. I do think that Nolan is probably the better passer, and if you're going to try and mount a comeback, you might stick with him a little bit longer, because certainly none of what happened is his fault. I mean, they've had 10 plays and they haven't had a first down yet. So it's shared responsibility across the board and a dominant performance by HFL.
So 2nd and 11 from their own 27-yard line. Palmac going to hand it off here. Nice opening by the offensive line, allows Wiseman to get up to the 34-yard line. So it'll bring up a more manageable third down for Palmac.
Yep, I think that's the kind of play the Raiders need. As much as you'd like to try against a defense that is good as Honeoye Falls-Lima, having only given up 6 points all year, you can't count on a big play happening. So you have to win each play, do your job, and like you said, manageable 3rd and 6.
So we'll have to see how the Raiders elect to go about this 3rd and 6 situation. They come out in a pistol formation. Going to be a handoff to Reynolds Diaz, and he's going to lose about a yard on 3rd down. So
yeah, there were 4 Cougars there to greet him at the line. And we knew that the line play, the Coach Miniman even talked about the irresistible force and the immovable object. So far, the irresistible force has been the HFL defense. They're winning the battle up front, and that's allowing their skilled players to shine on the 2nd and 3rd levels.
And again, running has been Palmac's strong suit. Interesting that they elect to run their 3rd and 6. I guess they just don't want to shy away from what has got them here so far, as Killenbeck returning this one for the Cougars. Gets a nice block there on the outside edge. He's still on his feet. Tries to make another move, but he's going to get cut down inside the 30-yard line.
Fabulous return, almost 30 yards. Killenbeck has really stepped up tonight. We haven't seen him step forward like this and make these kind of big plays. But both of his returns, he showed great patience and gotten to the outside, read his blockers well, and positive yardage. So he's having a breakout game, I would say.
Yeah, JT Killenbeck, he only has 3 catches on the season for a total of 17 yards, but certainly making his presence known on special teams as he sets the Cougars up at the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 here for HFL, 5:21 left in the second quarter.
And he's right down in front of us, Peter, grabbing the water. He's got a big smile on his face. You can tell that he's feeling good, not only about the way he's performing, but the way his team is, and to contribute to their success tonight is always rewarding for a player, young player. He's only a junior, and with 19 seniors on the team, he wants to send them out tonight with a great senior night.
So on that first down play, we had a pre-snap penalty against HFL before they were able to get the play off. So it'll bring up 1st and 15 for HFL, moves them back to the 32. They come back out in the very same formation, and it's going to be a pass. Reese Joint fires over the middle, and it's caught. I believe that's Colt Green for the Cougars. Check that. That's number.
That's Lustig, number 6.
That's Lustig, 6.
And the HFL receivers tonight have done a nice job of staying with the ball, concentrating, reeling it in. Wasn't a clean catch. He needed to work for it a little bit, but he was able to make the play and make up 13 yards on first down. So the HFL offense is back in business.
Yep, as you said, big pickup there on first down. Leads to 2nd and 2 here now inside the red zone for the Cougars. Knocking on the doorstep of Palmac. Joint gonna loft it up. He's looking towards Colt Green in the back of the end zone. He's got him. Touchdown. Colt Green finds the Meehan Architecture end zone. And Cougars piling on now 33-0.
Terrific call by you there, Peter. Green beat his defender off the line. He was 2 or 3 steps behind him. You just waited to see if the ball would get there on time. A nice over-the-shoulder catch. And the Cougars are now 5 for 5 on possessions and finding the end zone.
So Carbonell coming back out after he missed his previous attempt. We weren't sure if it was blocked or if the wind caught it. This time up, and no doubt about it. 34-0 HFL, 4:15 left in the second quarter. HFL is rolling right now, and it'll be interesting to see what Palmac elects to do here as they find themselves down big in the second quarter of play.
Yeah, it's kind of like life, Peter. 90%, it's 10% of what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. And obviously HFL has come out firing on all cylinders here. The Cougars are well oiled. They're good to go. And Palmac has won its last 3 games, but I don't think they've seen anything that looks like this HFL team yet. And they need to adjust, or it's going to be an even longer night than it already is. But such a fantastic start, and we've seen this 3 games in a row, and makes you think that this Cougar team can really make a strong run at that first sectional title for football.
So kickoff brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Palmac going to start with the ball at the 39-yard line.
Yes, a nice return there by number 22, Daniel Hooper. We've seen them return a lot of kickoffs, so because the HFL offense has been so potent. But the Red Raiders, some of their best plays tonight have been on the kickoff return. You can see that they have some skilled players when they get it in space. The problem they've had on offense is that the Cougars haven't allowed them to get much space.
So 1st and 10 for Palmac. Audible, it looks like, called there by Nolan. Sends Diaz in motion to the top. He's going to throw it. Quick bullet pass is going to be in and out of the hands of Sage Hunter. And we have a late flag called by the back judge. This could be going against the Cougars to give Palmac their first down of the night, potentially, depending on what it is.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. That's what you usually see when it's there. And I didn't think the hit was that late, but it looked like a football play. But when it's head contact. So when the receiver gets hit in the head, that's almost automatic. So it was a football play happening at high speed, and it just so happened that the Cougar defender was a little bit too high when he made contact with Hunter, and there is the first down for Palmac tonight.
Yeah, hard to see a play like that in real time. It looks like a bang-bang play, but at this level, they're just trying to do whatever they can to weed those sort of plays out. So HFL gets assessed a personal foul. Palmac now 1st and 10 inside HFL territory as Quinn Nolan bobbled the snap, and he refuses to go down after a host of Cougars go after him, but eventually he is sacked on 1st down, so that'll bring now the ball back to the Palmac side of the field.
And Coach Russ told us that we'd be seeing number 44, Jake Geary, tonight, and that's the second time he's been in on a play. Give Nolan credit for his athleticism to extending the play. There was just no place to go, and he couldn't find an open man. He bought as much time as he could, but then there were 3 Cougars there along with Geary to meet him.
Yeah, Ryan Gary, the 6'1", 175 sophomore, pulled up from JV this week. First guy pulled up from the JV team to the varsity team for the Cougars, and he's made some nice plays, as you said, Steve, tonight, as Nolan goes with the quick pass to 34. That's Joshua Schaefer, the fullback for the Raiders. He'll get back to the original starting position of this situation here that they got. Going to be 3rd and 10. Check that, 3rd and 9.
And I think if you're the Raiders, this is definite 2-down territory. You're on the HFL side of the field for really the first time tonight. They had one play and it was negative, and they moved back. So you want to see if you can, continue this drive, take it down to halftime, and score. I would try to score with 2 seconds left in the half, so HFL doesn't get the ball again, because the Cougars do start the second half with the ball.
So 3rd and 9. And we got a flag. Looks like this could be going against the offense, considering the play was shut down. Looks like it is going to be assessed against the Red Raiders. Moving back 5. Going to bring up 3rd and 14 now for Palmac.
And that'll just make the task a little bit tougher. It looked like they had a good pass play developing. Nolan, was looking downfield. They had some receivers there, but you don't know if they were open because they were open or they were open because the Cougar defense heard whistles blow.
Yeah, and Coach Miniman's got to be a little bit frustrated. He talked about penalties were an issue last week, and he said, hey, if we're going to beat a team like HFL, we have to pitch a perfect game. We cannot shoot ourselves in the foot like we did last week. And we had that penalty inside the red zone that gave the Cougars another set of plays, and they're on the 3rd down play. That's incomplete, but it was pushed back because of a pre-snap penalty. So,
and now you're 4th and 14 on your own 49. I think you have to change your outlook and punt it here. You can't afford risking giving the Cougars the ball that close to your end zone with a minute and a half left. The way their offense is playing, you've got to make them earn everything from here. If HFL is going to be able to take the ball down the field, you got to make them go as far as possible.
And you got to expect that the coaching staff for the Raiders is telling McIntyre, whatever he does, just kick it out of bounds. Don't let Killenbeck return this one, as that one was nearly blocked. Takes a high bounce.
And he's got the edge again, Peter. If he can get here, he's got a lot of space.
Killenbeck up towards midfield. Still working that sideline, but eventually going to be dragged out.
And I think the Raiders are very fortunate there that there was not a penalty for bringing him down out of bounds. I seem to hear a whistle as he was being dragged out. I think that's maybe a score situation, non-call. But in some situations, you could see the Cougars getting an additional 15 there. But Killenbeck's contributions tonight have just been outstanding.
Yeah, I think both teams kind of playing it careful there, especially with the punt return, something we haven't seen tonight. But when you have guys flying around the edge, especially at the high school level, you have very often, blocking the back, clipping calls, as looks like we are switching out the footballs there. So we'll have a brief stoppage here. So a minute 20 left in the first half. Cougars up 34-0 at the Palmac, call it 38-yard line. Joint's going to be out here in the shotgun double receiver set. Low snap. Joint's able to pick it up. He's going to look, fling it across the middle of the field.
Lustig and Joint seem to be refining that magic they had last week.
So clock continues to roll now, hovering around 60 seconds. HFL taking their time there. So again, another pass play. Joint's going to look towards the end zone, towards Smith, and he just throws it a little bit too far for him.
And you can see Reese Joint a little bit frustrated with the hand motion. I mean, and I think that just speaks to him as a competitor. Coach Russ talked about him as an athlete and always wanting to do well and improve. And, that was a 35-yard throw. He did have an open man, and it's the throw that he's been making consistently. And when you miss one, you've seen him make it so much that when he misses one, almost everybody's surprised, including him.
Yeah, and that was the exact same part of the end zone that he was able to throw that fade pass to Colt Green. So that part of the field he hasn't had an issue with tonight, as it's now 2nd and 10 for HFL after the incomplete pass. It's going to be a handoff here to Colt Green. He's going to work the sideline, be brought out of bounds, but first he'll pick up approximately 5 yards. Referee signaling that he actually got taken down in bounds, so the clock will continue to roll. HFL still has all 3 of their timeouts. So it looks like we're not initially expecting to take one, but after some confusion, we have a stop. Looks like this is going to be a timeout called by, I'm expecting the Cougars. Yep, and it is called to be an HFL timeout. This timeout, of course, brought to you by Main Street Cafe. Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, panini, salads, pizza, and more. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help you create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe.
I think the Cougars coaching staff may have thought that the clock was going to stop because Green got dragged out of bounds too, and then it took a second or two for everybody to realize that the clock was rolling. And obviously 3rd down at the 23. This whole drive is about building your team and trying to improve. It's not you want to score, not to put the extra 6 points on the board, but to show your offense what it needs to do as you look at the big picture the rest of the season heading into sectionals. You want to prepare your team for almost any situation it will encounter. Getting the ball back and going 50, 40 yards after the return in a minute and a half is something they may need to do in a higher pressure situation, so you want to be able to succeed at that. I think Coach Russ is asking the referee why the clock didn't stop. I think he took a second there to ask a couple of questions.
Yeah, so 27 and a half, call it, seconds left in the first half. Cougars electing to come out in a trips formation to the bottom of your screen. Joint from the shotgun. It's going to be a pass, rolls out, fires to his right. This time he's got Smith again, and it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith, corner of the end zone, makes up for the overthrow 2 plays ago. Cougars now up 40-0 over Palmac.
And you're exactly right, Peter. Those two just missed on a touchdown a couple of seconds ago. We saw that Joint was frustrated with the way that he threw that last pass. That was a well-thrown ball there. That's a pass that Reese Joint, is one of the few quarterbacks in Section 5 that can make that all the time.
So with 21.2 seconds left, Carbonell extra point attempt up and good. So we'll call it a 41-0 lead by the Cougars. Palmac, I expect to just come out here and take a knee and try and go to the locker room here at halftime and talk things over and try and regroup before this second half and how they want to attack things, especially we talked about it a little bit. There's a good chance Palmac plays HFL this week, the next week Batavia. Obviously, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but there's a good chance the Red Raiders could play either HFL or Batavia again in 10 days if it's HFL, 5 days
if it's Batavia.
If it's Batavia, yeah.
And the schedule it is what it is, and HFL had that season. Palmac had the season opening loss to Wayne, and then was able to win 3 games in the middle, and then they finished with HFL and Batavia, which may be the 2 best teams in Class B.
So this kickoff brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. So a line drive kick, squib kick, going to be fielded by Palmac. And I believe that was Joshua Schaefer for Palmac. He'll get out towards the 29-yard line. So with 15.2 seconds left in the first half, Steve, you think Palmac's just going to take a knee here, or you think they're going to take a shot here with one timeout?
I think you absolutely take a knee. This has been another HFL clinic in the second quarter. 27 points. They're 6 for 6 on possessions tonight. And although they do have a quarterback change, but, I do think that formation's tight. I would be surprised, but it looks like I think they're still going to take a knee.
And they do just that. They'll take a knee. So that'll be the last play of the first half. Cougars up 41-0. So we'll have a 10-minute halftime period here. We will also like to take this time to thank some of our sponsors. Starting with Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Love the convenience of curbside pickup, but fear unpacking your groceries. The beauty of having experienced grocery people picking your orders is exactly what you want. So leave the shopping to your friends at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Made from scratch baked goods to hand-cut meat, vegan, and everything in between. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Also, we have Salvatore's Old Fashioned Pizzeria, your healthy, fast, local choice for pizza in the village of Honeoye Falls. Order dinner after the big game at 582-2525 or order online at salvatores.com. And lastly, Meehan Architecture. Now, Rob has asked me, rather than to read an ad, he asked us to just, quote, talk about football. So, Steve, you want to give us a as quick as you can, recap of scoring in that first half?
Sure, and thankfully, Rob gives us a lot of time because there's a lot to talk about. HFL, just a perfect first half from the offensive standpoint, and I would say the defensive standpoint. Cougars have not given up a point, and they've only given up one first down. They forced a 3-and-out on the first drive, and the HFL offense has scored all 6 times it has touched the ball. 5 times for the offense, once for the special teams. So we start with Jacob Derby, an 8-yard touchdown run with 6:19 left in the first quarter. And then J.T. Killenbeck after the next drive with a 50-yard punt return, 3:32 left in the first. Cougars up 14-0 and knocking on the door. Last play of the first quarter, Jacob Derby hauls in a pass, gets down to the 1-yard line. First play of the second quarter, pay dirt again for Derby. And then the next drive, Derby again from 8 yards out. So he's got 3 touchdowns in the first half. And then HFL started to open it up in the air. If you're going to say one thing, maybe the Cougars' passing game wasn't clicking early, but they certainly found it in the second half of the second quarter when Reese Joint, Colt Green, 23-yard touchdown pass, and then just before the half, Nolan Smith, also a 23-yard touchdown catch. Speaking of catches, I got to catch my breath after all that.
Yeah, like you said, HFL having a phenomenal first half, and that second quarter, let alone, has brought us to a 41-0 halftime score here at HFL. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back with a little bit of time left in the halftime period to talk some more insight strategy going into the second half. Thanks some more of our sponsors. We want to thank all of you for tuning in to this senior night rendition of Section 5 Class B football live on the Sentinel. We'll be back in a few.
Batavia's up 35-0 at the half.
We are back here at HFL, and as you just heard Steve say, Batavia is up at the half. We'll have some more out-of-town score update shortly. Do want to thank some of our sponsors here to start, starting with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe, located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Every Monday is Milkshake Monday at Main Street Cafe with $5 large shakes. Or if you're in the mood for something else, try their coffee, espresso, smoothies, paninis, salads, or pizza. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help you create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. Also, Salvatore's Old Fashioned Pizzeria, your healthy, fast local choice for pizza in the village of Honeoye Falls. Order dinner after the big game tonight at 582-2525 or order online at salvatores.com. And next, we do want to give a special thank you to the Mendon-Honeoye Falls Sentinel, who allows us to broadcast on their feed. You can follow them on their various social media accounts. They publish weekly stories on their website. And of course, you can submit local news if you have it, or buy a subscription for their print weekly newspaper. So be sure to check in with the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. So with just under a minute here left in this halftime period, Steve, as we approach this second half kickoff, what do you think we'll see strategy-wise from Palmac?
I think Palmac just really has to turn the mirror on itself and try to make some positive plays happen. They only had one first down in the first half, Peter, and that came via penalty. So they are getting dominated on the line of scrimmage, and the line has been one of the strengths for them this year. And I think they just want to make positive plays and also stay healthy, because I think Coach Miniman did have kind of a big picture approach to things coming up, but he's not in a position where he can back off too much, because his team has 3 wins, and with Batavia coming up, if you look at the sectional picture, I think every team that gets 4 wins will get in, and I think a team with 3 wins can get in, but it's a lot more dicey. So in order to get into sectionals, Palmac really wants to win one of its last 2 games, and tonight at this point looks like that's a tall order. So they might start turning their thoughts towards Batavia a little bit and trying to stay healthy.
So yeah, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, tonight is senior night, so maybe HFL, if this one stays the way it is in terms of the scoring differential, I got to expect maybe there's an opportunity for some HFL players to get some playing time that are seniors that wouldn't otherwise be out on the field. Certainly some of the wide receivers we've seen some flashes of throughout the past couple games where we've been in similar situations. Couple names that come to mind: Andrew Childs, Jaden Kuhn. There's a couple other wide receivers that maybe could also find themselves with additional playing time, as well as on the defensive side of the ball. There's a couple players that I would expect to maybe get shuffled in as this game continues to roll along.
If you're HFL, this is almost the perfect senior night, because your seniors have been playing well. Your senior quarterback has 2 touchdown passes. Your senior running back has already run for 3 touchdowns. And, you're rolling. And in this short season, that we've talked about it a lot, there's a quick turnaround. HFL next week, folks, we know that Geneva is going to forfeit the game. The Cougars are looking for an opponent right now. So right now you don't know when your next game is. Coach Russ really wants these kids to get another game, considering they lost one a couple of weeks ago after being put on pause. So he wants this team to enjoy every moment, and it's a lot easier to enjoy every moment when you've got a 41-point lead at halftime.
Certainly. So both teams coming back out onto the field here for the second half. This second half kickoff brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Kicker here for the Batavia Red Raiders is Brendan Moquin, and that's a deep kick out to the 10-yard line for HFL, and a little reverse action there as The Cougar will be dragged down at about the 27-yard line.
Looked like Colton Brody Young is coming in at quarterback. I think that's a load management thing, a safety thing, and a looking ahead thing.
Yeah, Brody Young's had the opportunity to see quite a bit of action so far through the first 3 games for HFL. He's thrown at least 1 touchdown here for the Cougars, and he'll get a whole half a play.
And I think that's a great thing, especially with him going to be a senior next year coming into August in camp. It gives Coach Russ a good look at him in April. It's almost like a sneak preview.
So Young will hand off, believe that's Zachary Meacham for HFL. So a switch there at the running back position as well. We've seen Meacham a fair amount. He's got 20 carries for 146 yards. No touchdowns this season, but he's averaging a nice 7.3 per carry.
He is, and he gives the Cougars a great option there. And just looking down in front of us, we see Mason Wanzenreed and Jacob Derby on the sideline. So it does look like a lot of the starters, Reese Joint, Patrick Lustig, will get a rest in the second half, which is great. They get to enjoy senior night, watch their teammates, and cheer them on. And one thing Coach Russ said about the senior class is they are great at supporting the underclassmen and their teammates.
And that pass from Young looking towards Killenbeck's direction. Had some nice separation. He had a big contribution earlier tonight with a special teams touchdown. Looking to now make some solid contributions as a wide receiver. Young throws a incompletion on his first attempt. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 for HFL as we begin this second half of play.
And I think, that we'll continue to see a mix of the run and the pass. We'll just see different players getting opportunities, and it'll be interesting to see how well they can do.
So handoff there goes to Meacham, and he's met in the backfield rather quickly. Believe that was
79.
That's Zachary Troutman.
And Coach Miniman talked about Troutman. Troutman is not the tallest guy, but he's very strong. He's about 5'9", 245, has a low center of gravity. He's a player that has made some plays for the Red Raiders throughout the season. He got good penetration there and was able to make a positive play for his team.
So the second down play for the Cougars goes backwards, brings up 3rd and 11. Brody Young pump fakes, and that's going to be off the hands of the defender. That's number 81, Adam Smith, for the Red Raiders. He already has 1 interception on the season, make that his 4th pass defended. So nice play there by the Palmac defense is going to bring the punting unit out onto the field for HFL.
Aiden Gould was the intended receiver there. He ran a nice route, but you could tell that Smith was a receiver because he had a nice break on the ball, made a nice play on it, and that is the first. This is the first time we'll see the punting unit for the Cougars.
So I believe that should be Carbonell kicking for HFL, and he's kicking to deep to number 9. That's Matt Duarduini, as the HFL punt is going to take a couple bounces and then eventually go out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. So Palmac comes out onto the offense for Palmac comes out on the field. I'd imagine we see some substitutes for this HFL defense as well.
And we're going to see a little bit more extended play at quarterback for Aiden Lonenville-Lent for Palmac. I know that Coach Miniman was looking forward to seeing him play tonight. I think he was hoping that it was in a more tight situation so he could see what Lent could do. But he's a young player who has a lot of promise, and the coaching staff wants to give him a chance too.
Yeah, Lent, the 5'11", 170-pound sophomore. 7 for 18, 59 yards, and a touchdown coming into this game. His first snap is a handoff. And that will go for a gain of about 2 yards for Palmac. That carry by Yvonne Reynolds-Diaz.
And Jacob Derby was in on that tackle. So it looks like some of the senior starters are still getting their reps on defense, maybe getting a break on offense. And with the secondary being so strong on this HFL defense, you want your seniors to play and have fun, and you also want maybe they're saying that if Palmac's going to score, they're going to have to earn it and do it against our ones, at least in the third quarter.
Yeah, we just saw number 88, Hayden Meehan, check into outside linebacker in place of Patrick Lustig as the ball's out on the turf, and it looks like it's going to be recovered by HFL. So a bobbled handoff there results in a turnover for HFL.
And was that your man, Mr. Meacham, that came up with the recovery, Hayden Meehan? I think Zachary Meacham is also in the game, but I think 88 is the one that came up with the ball. That was a sloppy exchange all the way through. Pressure from the HFL defense in the backfield, and I believe it was Meehan who was in the right place at the right time to fall on it.
Yeah, which is pretty incredible considering he actually, I believe, leads the team in fumble recoveries. He had 2 coming into this game. If that was, in fact, his, and the way he's reacting with his teammates on the sideline, I got to imagine that he did pounce on that one. So that's his 3rd fumble recovery this season and leads the Cougars as the HFL offense comes back out in the field. Good starting field position. The Palmac 27, Brody Young, steps back. He pitches it out to Aiden Gould, who reverses field, still on his feet, and he's dragged down at the 10-yard line.
What a super run after the catch there by Aiden Gould. These guys are, we mentioned that we might see some new players get a chance to show what they can do. Gould is a junior, so, this season you would think that maybe he would be back in the fall trying to show the coaching staff that he can be a contributor in the future. And with determination like that, you're going to catch people's attention.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 11, so the Cougars can still get another first down here without scoring, albeit 1 yard. They'll come out in a doubles formation, pretty spread out. And Young is going to hand off. That goes to, I believe that was
it 34 Griffin Mayo maybe?
I think that's who that was, yeah. Number 34 for the Cougars, Griffin Mayo, who of course is one of those guys we've mentioned before in the broadcast as a multi-sport athlete, dabbled a little bit with diving while his traditional hockey was waiting for that green light to compete. So he's a guy who, this is his first year playing football, and he's given an opportunity here to run the ball a little bit, show what he can do.
And this is the perfect situation to do it, to have, kids that are good athletes and wanting to come out and learn, try something new, give them a chance to show what they can do.
And Young looking towards Ben Carson, and that's an incompletion. Nice pass break up there by number 12 for Palmac. That's Christian Reynolds Diaz.
It was, and it was a nice throw, too, by Brody Young. You could see that he has good footwork, good arm strength, and, the ability to make plays and give his receivers a chance. And a lot of this HFL offense is taking advantage of the talents of the people on the outside and letting them make plays.
Cougars need the 1 for a first down.
So it's 3rd and 8, ball at the 9. Young sends Gould, the man in motion, to the top of your screen. Looks towards the direction of Carson, and that's incomplete. So the Cougars find themselves with 4th down. Wonder if they'll try and kick this one. Yeah, it looks like Carbonell's going to go out. I like this call here by Russ. Give him an opportunity to, get Carbonell kicking and get him comfortable with kicking outside of the point after attempt range.
Yeah, and you can never practice the operation there too much. It's a 3-step process with the snap, the hold, and the kick, and there might be a point in time when the 3 points can make a difference in a game.
So 26-yard attempt here for Carbonell. Joint the snap. Wazenreed the hold. The kick is up, and it is good.
And Peter, that great kick there, good from 26, probably would have been good from 36. So you can get a little bit of a read on the range of your kicker there. So in addition to the 3 points, you can see how he's comfortable kicking and where you might need to get in a closer, more important game where if you're in a 4th and long where the field goal might be the right call.
So Cougars get 3 points off the turnover from Palmac. That fumble occurring somewhere in the 30-yard range. They end up getting that ball inside the 10-yard line. Settle for 3 points, but HFL's got to be happy with getting some of their 2s in being able to pick up a couple first downs, and then ultimately just feeling out the leg of Carbonell.
Feeling out the leg and also running the time down. I mean, as much as you like to play, you like to be able to walk off the field with your team healthy and your team happy, and people having had an opportunity to contribute. And all of those things are in play right now.
So this kickoff brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Carbonell comes out here looking to tee this one off.
And I'd like to be a fly on the wall on the HFL sideline right now. Reese Joint and Brody Young were just having a conversation, and Young broke up laughing, and it must have been talking maybe about one of those throws, and Joint must have said something that really got him pretty good, because he just leaned back, and I think he almost spit out his water, because it was whatever was said was funny enough to get him going.
So Reynolds Diaz there struggled to pick up the kickoff there, and he eventually was able to recover it, but he was quickly dropped by a pair of HFL players. So it'll set up Palmac 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line here with 5:27 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, and if you're Palmac, it's just about making a first down. They only have one first down in the game, and it's getting positive momentum, giving your players a chance to take some good away from this game, because it is a fairly long bus ride home.
So Lent takes the snap. He'll look to throw, and he was looking in the direction of 88. That's Ashton Rowland. That ball falls harmlessly to the turf. He threw it in a window between HFL defenders. So now facing 2nd down and 10 is Palmac. They come out here back in that pistol formation they seem to be pretty comfortable in.
And Casey Wall and Griffin Mayo looked like they were defenders on the play. There may have been a chance to get the interception there. I did hear one of the coaches yell, pick it off, but they weren't able to do that.
So Lent fires it, and this time it's going to be caught by Ashton Rowland, still on his feet, up towards midfield, and he's going to be brought down. The touchdown saving tackled by Hayden Meehan. We do have a flag out at midfield, and it looks like this one could be against Palmac. So the biggest offensive play of the night for the Red Raiders, may be coming back by a few yards.
Yeah, you could see the reaction by number 52, Logan Kuhn, one of the linemen for Palmac around midfield. Not thrilled with the call. It was the Red Raiders' best play of the night for sure. Looked like they were able to get the HFL defense to overcommit a little bit. Found a nice connection. Roland made a nice catch and run. It'll still be first down, and then it'll be positive yardage. So positive play and first down number 1 really for the offense generated by a play that they made.
And Griffin Mayo was in tremendous position there to try and maybe return that one for 6. He's got to remember he's not on ice skates, though. He's on in cleats, so didn't quite have his footing there, so he couldn't make a good play on the ball. Instead, it's a first down for Palmac, with the Red Raiders trying to find themselves here offensively with 3:30 to go in the third quarter. Lent going to throw again. He's going to be dropped on the far side, quickly running through. Believe that was number
Jack Graney, number 69, I think I got. And now we've got a flag there too. Maybe a little bit of extracurricular discussion going on amongst the linemen on either side. We'll see which way this call goes, but that looked like a great penetration and a great tackle by Graney.
Yeah, Jack Graney, the 6'2", 180 senior. He's probably one of those guys. He's listed as the number 2 right guard and number 2 defensive end. So he's taking advantage of getting some extra snaps defensively. Both teams got called their personal fouls. Those will offset, and it'll bring up, and they both occurred after the play, it's worth noting. So rather than replaying the down, the first down sack will count, and it'll bring up 2nd and very long for Palmac. Ball back at the 22-yard line.
And you got to feel good for a guy like Jack Graney, right, to make a play like that, beat your man, bring the quarterback down in the open field, and that's why you play football, to have moments like that, and that was a great moment for him.
So empty set for the Red Raiders. Lent from the gun. He'll catch the snap. Quick throw, and that's incomplete. Looking in the direction of number 14, Sage Hunter, for the Red Raiders. So it'll be 3rd and long here now for Palmac.
Hunter, as we mentioned a little earlier, is a sophomore who's made plays on both sides of the ball. He's a two-way starter. Coach Miniman did mention to us, Peter, that he is the best route runner on the team. Ran a good route there, was unable to make the catch, and now it's 3rd and a lot.
We talked a little bit about it earlier, where Quinn Noland seems to be the quarterback for Palmac, who gets more of the passing reps. So my guess is Lent doesn't have the relationship and the chemistry with some of the wide receivers like Nolan does. So this is a good opportunity here for Lent, though, to try and maybe build on some of that, especially coming down this stretch here towards sectionals, if they can get a more comfortable and acclimated, as he fires a nice pass to the near side to Charlie Stever, who's going to get shoved out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Looks like we also have a flag thrown on the initial tackle there, so this could be potential face mask against HFL.
It looks like it's actually going to be offensive holding, so that's not a spot where you often see that flag thrown for that. But to your point, Peter, I think you're absolutely right about Lent. He's also a sophomore, so more time, more reps. And Coach Miniman had a great quote about, being a new coach with a new team and the compacted season and with a lot of young players. He said sometimes it's like they're drinking water out of a fire hose, and they're throwing a lot of information at his players at once, and sometimes it's a lot to handle, and we might be seeing a little bit of the result of that tonight with the Cougars being on cruise control and Palmac still trying to find its way.
So Cougars elect to decline that 3rd down penalty, brings up 4th. McIntyre's punt goes just past midfield, down at about the Cougar 42-yard line.
So, Peter, if we take a look at Class B, and HFL, we're going to project them to move to 5-0. We're going to project Batavia, which had a 35-0 lead over Mid Lakes, to move to 5-0. So I think those teams are definitely going to be into the Section 5 Class B playoffs. Where it gets interesting is, I think, between Newark, which is at 2-3, and Newark will close its season next week against Wayne. So that game could be a win to get in situation, and Palmac against Batavia. And if Palmac is able to win that game, they get to 4 wins. I think they're in. If they're not, it's a 3-3 tie, and it's very interesting. So there's a lot to be determined here.
Yeah, on 1st down there, Meacham, the ball carrier, he's wrapped up in the backfield for a loss of 1. Yeah, Steve, to go back to that conversation, there's going to be a couple interesting games to watch next week, especially that Palmac-Batavia game. That's going to have important implications on the 1st seed, let alone the 3 and 4 seeds as well, in terms of who's going to get that 1st seed. We mentioned that the game next week for HFL has been canceled against Geneva. So HFL going to get the forfeit win there. And they're going to play 1 less game than Batavia when it's all said and done. So in terms of how the power seeding works, as we have a pass here, looking to Gould, and what a catch by Aiden Gould along the sideline. Pass from Brody Young.
Yeah, great pass and a great catch, and that's what we were looking possibly to see here in the second half. Brody Young showing off his arm, and Aiden Gould got open, made a great play down the sideline to end the 3rd quarter. 3rd quarter ends a lot like the 1st, with HFL going deep into Palmac territory. So you can't, Gould showing what he can do.
So here between the 3rd and 4th quarters, we do want to thank some of our sponsors, including Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new decks, new builds, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. And Fly Control Services, a family-owned and operated professional pest control company serving all of Western New York and the Finger Lakes for 4 decades. Inside or out, home or business, they'll help you keep the bugs away. Give them a call at 704-8329. And also, Tonight's broadcast being presented by the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. Be sure to check out their website for weekly articles in addition to full color versions of their weekly print newspaper. Follow and join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can like and subscribe tonight's broadcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications as we start this fourth quarter of play. HFL up 44-0. Going to be a run play here on first down for the Cougars. Going to be minimal yardage on first down as we have a late flag.
We do, and this would have been a good time for me to remember my binoculars. They're down on that darker far end of the field, and not quite sure who got the handoff there, but good yard. Not much really happened on that play. We'll see what the penalty is.
So foul will go against Palmac, so that'll move the ball half the distance to the goal line, I believe. So that'll bring up
about 2nd and 3.
Yeah, but not an automatic first down. So it wasn't a personal foul call. It was only half the distance potentially, or it was a 5-yard mark off. In any case, it's going to be 2nd and about 2 inside the 10-yard line for the Cougars.
And we got Brody Young in shotgun surveying the field. We'll see what they have cooked up here.
He'll move Killenbeck in motion to his left. He's going to look to his right. He'll fire it on in, and that's going to be a touchdown for HFL.
I think it's number 8.
So Young able to connect with number 8 for HFL. That would be Andrew Childs, the wide receiver. They've already connected once this season for a touchdown, so Childs able to find the Meehan Architecture end zone to extend this HFL lead. Now sits at 50-0.
And that's a little bit what we talked about too. We'll call it a senior moment, right? Andrew Childs starts in the secondary and gets a play to have a touchdown on senior night on offense. So that's a great moment for the Cougars.
So Carbonell extends the lead now at 51. So I do want to go back to our previous conversation we were having about the HFL situation. Their next week's game has been canceled, so they get that forfeit win, but because they missed that previous game, they're only going to finish 5-0, whereas Batavia, who already have knocked off this week's opponent, will have the option, or have the opportunity rather, to go 6-0. And I'm not quite sure how the power seeding works, so if Batavia goes 6-0, because looking at the standings right now, forgetting about tonight's 2 games for Batavia and HFL, HFL undefeated at 3-0. They have 16 sectional points, which gives them 5 1/3 average. Batavia 4-0, 21 points. Take the average of that over the 4 games. That puts them at 5 1/4. So HFL is in that 1 spot. So that brings up the question, and I don't have the answer for you tonight, unfortunately, as to if HFL and Batavia finish undefeated, who finishes 1 and 2.
Yeah, and the power seedings are great because they take into account every game played by every team. But in HFL and Batavia at the start of the season, we're going to play the same schedule. But when HFL's game against Mid-Lakes got put on pause, now the Cougars are only going to play 5 games. And we should tell our listeners, Peter, that I did talk to AD Brian Donahue before the game. He is working hard to try and get a substitute game in early next week. They're working there. That game would be a no contest. It wouldn't count towards the record, but it would give the Cougars players an opportunity to play a 5th game, which is very important to Coach John Russ because his team has already missed 1 game this season, and having a 4-game regular season, he would much rather have a 5-game regular season and include as much action for his kids as he can.
So 1st and 10 for the Palmac Red Raiders. Lent comes out into the shotgun here, empty set, collects the snap. He's going to fire it over the middle and nearly intercepted for HFL.
That's 43 with a pass break up there. That was a nice play. I know he's kicking himself. It's
Justin Blodgett.
Justin Bludgeon wanted the interception, but the ball over the middle. He did his first responsibility is to knock the ball down, make sure that it's incomplete, and he did that. He had a nice drop on the play, and I'm sure, want to haul it in, but it's still a pass breakup and a good positive play for the defense.
Now, I would be remiss if I did not mention that previous kickoff was brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Lent going with the quarterback keep. He'll just run right up the gut. Has some good open real estate, and he'll be just short at midfield. So he'll pick up the first down and more and be spotted out towards the Palmac 48-yard line.
And right there we see a little bit of the playmaking ability that Coach Miniman talked about with Lent. Made a nice read there on the drop. Almost looked like a draw play, quarterback draw. I don't know if it was called or if it was because of the penetration, but he saw a hole. He reacted quickly. Positive play.
So with 8.5 left in this fourth quarter, we do want to remind fans tuning in to stay around after the game. We will be live streaming the senior night festivities here at HFL. They'll recognize the 20-plus seniors for the Cougars as that catch is completed to Sam Wiseman, who's still in bounds up towards the 20-yard line before he's tackled by number 44 for HFL.
That's Geary, the player that just came up from the JVs, and we've called his name three times tonight, and he's downfield, saved a touchdown. And when the score is like this and you save a touchdown, your teammates appreciate that because they like to see the 0 on the board more than the 6. But another nice play by Lent, and Wiseman too, showing some agility and some playmaking ability to break some tackles and get downfield.
Yeah, nice pickup there by Wiseman. He had what could have been a touchdown a week ago in the Palmac game, and he makes up for it here today with a nice catch as Lent lofts it to the end zone. And Wiseman in and out of his hands. It's the old announcer's jinx, I guess.
So close. He made a nice job to get open, adjusted on the ball. May have been looking at the sideline there. He was very close. And sometimes when you take your eye off the ball just for a split second, you're unable to complete the play. But he showed the ability to get open and very close to scoring.
If I'm Palmac, I got to get that guy a touchdown after that last one and the one a week ago. Number 20, Sam Wiseman for the Red Raiders needs a score. So Lent in the shotgun, empty set here, 2nd and 10 at the HFL 19-yard line.
Looks like the same formation, Peter. Who knows? They might take another shot at it. No, they got a timeout, so something didn't go right.
Yeah, there was some confusion on the far side. I think who was supposed to be on the line, who was lined up off, and making sure they didn't get a pre-snap penalty for illegal formation. So Palmac takes a timeout. Do you need a timeout? Take a break with Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe located at 58 North Main Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. Coffee, espresso, smoothies, shakes, panini, salads, pizza, and more. Be sure to check out their daily specials on Facebook.
And, that's a good timeout call by Palmac. This is the best position they've had all night. They had a near miss in the end zone. And you asked at halftime, what does Palmac want to do to take out of this game? And I think the answer right now is score a touchdown. Have that and get ready for Batavia. And then whatever is next.
So 2nd down play, Palmac in the huddle. Want to make sure they get this play right. Have a good opportunity to try and break that goose egg here with 6:40 to go in the 4th. And it looks like they're going to come out in the exact same formation. This time everybody knows who's supposed to be on and off the line. Lent operating out of the gun, empty set. He's going to roll out to his right, lofted up towards the end zone, and pass is batted at the very last moment by, I believe that was number 34 for HFL, Griffin Mayo, on the far side end zone.
Yeah, and when Schaefer broke free down the line, it looked almost like the play to Derby in the first half for HFL, where the back was open, and waiting for the ball. And you got to give Griffin Mayo credit for his break on the ball. He wasn't going to make the interception, but by knocking it out of bounds, he made the right play. Knock it down, right? So this football thing might be okay for him. I mean, with hockey and diving, and he's just a junior, so I don't know if he plays a fall sport. A lot of times hockey players play travel hockey in the fall, but I don't know maybe if he'd consider coming back next fall.
So 3rd and 10 now for the Red Raiders. Lent going to throw it over the middle, and there was a bunch of guys over in that direction, but it falls incomplete. 4th down. Now they do have a place kicker that they're pretty confident in for Palmac. That's
number 80. That's
Brendan Moquin, who
they're going to give him a look here from about 35 yards away, 36 maybe.
And he's a guy who came over from the soccer team. Like many of the kickers we've seen in Section 5 this year, he said, "Coach, I want to play football, but I just have one request. My mother told me that I can only kick." So they said, "Sure, we'll give you a tryout," and he impressed. And he has an opportunity here to kick, we'll call it a 32-yarder.
Good foot.
And it's good.
Good foot, good kick. I mean, and there's that positive play for Palmac that you're looking for. I mean, sure, you're going to look at the score, and it reminds me of a certain AFC championship game many moons ago. But that's a positive play, and Moquin, he just got it there, but he got it there. And it's almost like in baseball when line drives look the same in the box score as the little dribbler, and from here on out, he nailed it.
Yep, and these two teams sticking to the script with the Raiders only scoring 3 points so far. So we will have another kickoff here by Palmac, and this kickoff, of course, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Curbside pickup is now available at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. So Palmac gets their first points of the night. 3 breaks that HFL shutout. So now HFL has allowed 9 points through 4 and 3/4 plus games. They'll come out for their second time for kick return. This time they come out with Aiden Gould and Hayden Meehan back deep for the Cougars.
And I'm interested to see just how far Moquin is going to kick this because, with the strong leg, it looks like he's maybe kicking it into the wind, so we won't see the touchback. But your point about kickers in Section 5 and being an added dimension for so many teams this year is so true. And it's nice to see kids that are having fun and trying something new.
So the southpaw kicker will boot it back deep in the direction of Aiden Gould, who fields it at his own 10-yard line, running to the far left side, and he's going to be met by a host of Palmac Red Raiders and tackled about the 27-yard line. So the Cougar offense, led by Brody Young, will come back out onto the field with 4.5 to go here in the fourth quarter.
Well, a nice job there by Aiden Gould, making the most of his opportunity. And that's what you want to do. You're getting some reps. You work hard in practice just like everybody else. And when the lights are on and it's Wednesday night lights and it's game time, you want to be able to put that into practice. Put what you've done in practice into reality in the game.
So clock ticking now under 4.5. It's 1st and 10 for HFL at their own 32-yard line. Young in the shotgun. And Young is going to hand off here to number 44 for the Cougars.
That's Geary.
That is Ryan Geary.
Coach Russ told us that we were going to see him play, Peter, but I am a little surprised at all the opportunities he's getting, and maybe not the opportunities, but the plays he's making. He's looked good on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and I had the opportunity to watch the HFL JV game this past weekend, and they took care of business against the Gates Chi-Li Spartans, so got to give a shout-out to the JV team. They looked pretty good, and I think that just like Palmac, they're having success at all levels of their program, whether it's modified JV and varsity, and that just lends itself to just building from the bottom up. And you see both teams benefiting from the fruits of their labor as Brody Young looked like I don't know if that was a design quarterback keep, but in any case, he powers ahead for gain of 2, and he'll bring up 3rd and short.
And you and I discussed the similarities between these teams coming into the game. And it as you mentioned, it goes beyond the coaches, both being involved in high-level programs and both being at their alma mater. It's about having to build the program. Coach Russ has done that too, and he has both talked about culture and establishing a culture, and they are both on the way to where they want to be. We haven't even mentioned that the 2019 sectional game where both teams were vying to get into the sectional finals for the first game. That game was won by HFL 14-12. But I think you will see over the years these teams are going to not be strangers to each other. They're going to have many opportunities to play, and I think the Palmac program is on the rise, and the HFL program might be where it wants to be, but is going to need to work to stay there.
Certainly, as Brody Young picks up the first down with a design quarterback run that time around. And, you know, talking about the programs, I think for Palmac it's huge. So they don't have a JV team. So when you come in as a freshman, you are regularly hanging out with the seniors on the team. So you are kind of seeing firsthand the leadership and, you know, hey, if you work hard enough and, you know, polish your craft, this is where you could be. So I think for them to have the opportunity to see the seniors and interact with them firsthand, that's huge. As we have a very nice run, you could hear the HFL sideline cheering on Ryan Gary as he's going to make it 2nd and 2. But going back to what I was saying, so that interaction between the youngest in the program and the eldest right away is got to be huge.
It has to be huge, and you want that to be positive, because if the young players see players taking shortcuts, players don't have the best attitudes, that might carry over for a couple of seasons too, and it's very hard once that seed is planted to get it out. But they both seem to have the right seed plan, and you could tell by the reaction on the HFL bench when Gary made those yards after contact how excited the older players were for a younger player making a good play. And there he goes again for another first down. So he is definitely putting a stamp on himself as somebody that we're going to watch the rest of this season and into the next 2 seasons.
And with HFL, they have both a varsity and JV level, but they do a combined workout program. And Coach Russ told us about how back, you know, you go back 4 or 5 years, it's the, you know, seniors that are in the weight room only, and the freshmen are too intimidated because they're not as strong, but it's completely shifted in culture, and the freshmen are working out with the seniors, and, you know, it's just boys hanging out, to quote what Russ said. You know, it's just a place for them to work out and be comfortable hanging out and get to know each other, as Brody Young is going to
run out the clock, I think. Here,
yeah,
Peter.
He's going to pick up 5, and that could be the last snap here of tonight's game. Looks like HFL's going to be content with where they stand. Final score 51-3, Cougars over the Red Raiders. Now, Steve, before I get your closing thoughts, I do want to remind everyone to stick around here. We'll have some post-game senior night festivities. We'll keep the live stream rolling. We got some player bios to share with everyone. Both teams coming to midfield. Cougars victorious, and this is, like you said, going to be their final regular season game of the year.
At the moment.
At the moment, I'll say that game, if it is played, it's exhibition.
Okay.
So official, competitive regular season game. This is it, as the Cougars come back to their home sideline. So while we let the fans set up here for the senior night festivities, Steve, why don't you give us a rundown of the scoring and what we saw here tonight?
Well, we just saw a clinic put on by the Honeoye Falls-Lima Cougars. Jacob Derby ran for 3 touchdowns, all in the first half. Capped off the Cougars' first drive with an 8-yard run. We saw special teams touchdown at the late in the first quarter by J.T. Killenbeck. Derby, first play of the second quarter, a 1-yard run. Derby again midway through the second, an 8-yard run. Then the passing game got clicking a little bit. Reese Joint found Colt Green from 23 yards away, and then he connected again. 23 yards was the magic number to Nolan Smith. Cougars go into halftime up 41-0. Second half, we saw, I won't say the Cougars took the foot off the gas a little bit, but they sprinkled in some new players, did well. Alexander Carbonell with a 26-yard field goal late in the third quarter. And then we got the touchdown that we were looking for out of Andrew Childs from Brody Young, start the fourth. And then high school game with 2 field goals, Peter. HFL got on the board late, and it was Brendan Moquin, correct? And he kicked the 36-yard field goal late in the fourth, 51-3. But if you're a Cougar fan, it's a perfect senior night.
Yeah, and if you're Pal Mac, you can't dwell on this too much because you have a game next week against Batavia. You're still very much in the thick of the things, and you need to somewhat have instant amnesia. I mean, remember what happened here tonight and how you don't want to have this feeling again in 2 weeks' time when they potentially play a team like HFL again. So, for the Red Raiders, they got to reset coming into this week. I know it's a short week. They play again next Tuesday against Batavia, but they just got to assess themselves, figure out where they're at, and what they need to do to be successful against a very good Blue Devil team and to position themselves in where they want to be going into sectionals.
100%. And I think where we thought the battle might be a little bit closer tonight was on the line of scrimmage. And from the outset, we expected Honeoye Falls-Lima to come out throwing the ball. They actually ran it a little bit more early to establish the tone, maybe some dominance out front. The defensive line got tremendous push tonight. There were sacks in the first half. The only first down by Palmac was via penalty. So HFL defense was fantastic tonight. They've been fantastic all year. And when you've got the offense and the defense doing what they're doing, you get a special teams touchdown. It's a total recipe for success.
Yeah, certainly HFL has got to feel very good about itself, and it's going to be closely watching that Batavia-Palmac game, given the implications on the number 1 and 2 seed, given where HFL's standing is. And also just, unfortunately, HFL and Batavia don't play each other in the regular season, so we'll have to probably use this, as observers of the game, we're probably going to have to use tonight's score and then next week's score between Batavia and Palmac to try and assess, where do Batavia and HFL find themselves relative to one another, because we're not going to be able to see them until it matters.
You're right.
And
they did preseason scrimmage, but you have to remember that 8 of the members of the football team for Honeoye Falls-Lima were that was a day after the basketball finals, so they weren't really involved at that point. So Coach Russ, I know, had instant amnesia from that scrimmage. He learned some things. Maybe there's some things that he's storing away in the back of his brain. I'm sure Coach Briggs at Batavia, the same thing. But as the season goes on, I think if you're a football fan in Section 5, at some point you want to see HFL and Batavia play because it looks like it has the potential to be a great game.
And I think that more than likely, obviously we still have another week of action here, but we got to expect that HFL-Batavia matchup is probably not going to happen until the final. I guess it really depends on how things fall, but where they are right now, I got to believe that won't happen until the final. So if you're an HFL fan, you got to focus on that semifinal game. Yeah, they want Batavia, but hey, they're going to have to play a Palmac or a Wayne or a Bishop Kearney before they can probably get their hands on the Blue Devils.
Potentially in Newark, but both of those teams have gotten to 5. And I know the power seedings can't go straight by record, but I think the 2 teams with 5 or 6 wins will be 1 and 2. And the biggest thing about the seedings too, Peter, is that the number ones, the higher seed, will host the game. In past years, you'd be going to maybe St. John Fisher or someplace else to play that game. But whoever is the highest seed heading into the sectional final will have the opportunity to win a championship on its own field.
So they're starting to recognize some of the senior athletes here tonight. They're going to start with the varsity cheerleading team, and unfortunately we do not have a list of their roster and who's out here tonight. So we will do our best to try and listen to the PA announcer. We missed the first individual here for the Cougars, but we will try and listen. We have the list of football players, but we will do our best to relay that as it comes in.
And Peter, I will say that it was great to have the cheerleaders out tonight and more fans. With the noise, it felt like football used to feel. With just parents and two guests per player, it had been a little quieter. But hearing others tonight, it was great.
For every single one of your teammates who's pushing themselves equally as hard for you. They believe in you just as much as you believe in them. And most importantly, Coach's Dunkin' Donuts order is a large cold brew with cold foam black. Trust me, you're going to want to remember that. Great, Shelby. A warm round of applause for senior Shelby Briggs.
So Shelby Briggs, that was the first senior cheerleader here that was introduced for senior night.
Up another base cheerleader, senior Trinity Collier.
Trinity Collier's up next, Peter. And one of the great things we just heard about Shelby Briggs is her advice to the younger cheerleaders is to know the coach's Dunkin' Donuts order.
Grandmother Sharon in the house.
Yeah, and HFL has had a pretty good competitive cheerleading team the last couple seasons. I believe they brought home first place at their most recent competition. They had a similar situation where they had to wait for their season to get green lit, and seems like they haven't missed a beat and picked up right where they left off. So
yeah, it's amazing that cheerleading was considered a high-risk sport, but if you look at the studies, it is. And the things that these cheerleaders do, the routines that they put forth, the practice time they put in, very, very admirable. It's a lot. There's a lot to it, including a lot of gymnastics and support and teamwork, because if one person is a little bit off, that can cost the whole team.
So yeah, and certainly this is an awesome opportunity, given the whole COVID situation, the fact that they're able to have, the friends, the family, and some members from the community at an event like this where they can, recognize the seniors here. So we are going to start over to the football team. So starting with number 50, Henry Balmer. Position is defensive tackle. He's escorted by his parents here tonight. As we mentioned, position defensive tackle. Other interests include fishing and alpine skiing. His future plans are to attend SUNY Geneseo. His favorite football memory is the team working out, something we mentioned during the broadcast, and being able to bond with his teammates, and of course winning football games. The accomplishment that Henry Balmer is most proud of is being able to attend his top choice college and playing varsity football for his first time in his senior year of high school.
And what a first year it's been for Henry and the Cougars. So Justin Blodgett, number 43, is the next senior up. He's a linebacker. He also is interested in basketball and lacrosse. Plans to go to Finger Lakes Community College and study business. His favorite football memory, and although he broke up a pass tonight, it might change, was a big tackle on a huge running back while he was playing on the JV team. And the accomplishment he's most proud of, at least until the moment, is his JV lacrosse season.
And I think it's important to listen to some of these favorite football memories and most proud accomplishments, because there's a fair amount of these guys that reference a certain game from last season, and I got to expect that they're trying to build on that memory from a season ago.
And I would think that if you ask them to a man, that their best memory hopefully is yet to come.
So next up, Andrew Childs, the cornerback and wide receiver. Other interests include varsity baseball. He plans to major in biomedical engineering at West Virginia University. Favorite football memory, this is what I was referencing, making it to sectional finals last season for the first time in district history. Accomplishment he's most proud of, putting in the time and effort to be in the spot that I want to be. So congratulations, Andrew, senior year. We wish Andrew Childs the best of luck.
And he had a touchdown tonight, and Andrew's the guy that he might want to edit that bio when the season's over. And we go to Will Zora, number 66. He's a nose guard whose hobbies include wrestling and video games. He plans to attend trade school. And his favorite football memory, Peter, we've talked about culture, we've talked about this, the team bonding day freshman year. So 4 years ago when he first got in the program, the team came together and it's stuck with him ever since. And the accomplishment he's most proud of is being a part of the first HFL football team to go to a sectional final game.
Yeah, so the guys, that certainly speaks to the culture and where the bar is set for this organization. You know, and certainly coming off a regular season that they're going to finish undefeated and come into a Class B sectional tournament, that they're certainly going to be hungry and trying to avenge that 12-0 defeat over Livonia in November 2019. Next up, number 31, Jacob Derby. And of course, you know he's the starting running back for HFL as well as the strong safety. In addition to football, he plays varsity tennis and he's in the jazz ensemble. His plans are to major in mechanical engineering at the University at Buffalo. His favorite football memory is getting hyped in the locker room before every game and, of course, celebrating all the wins along the way. The accomplishment he's most proud of is leading the team in interceptions last year.
Well, and he had 3 touchdowns tonight on senior night, so tonight will also be a night that he remembers for a long time.
Yeah, he matched the mark that he had week 1. So, you know, again, they I don't know when they ask these guys the questions, but you got to imagine that some of these could change after the past couple weeks of games, and maybe even could change after the next 2 weeks.
And up next is number 69, Jack Graney. Jack had a big sack tonight. He's a defensive end, a right tackle, and on the first string scout team. So there's buying in, everybody accepting their roles. Other interests are lacrosse. He's going on his 3rd year of varsity. Lacrosse practice starts on Monday with the spring sports. He enjoys fishing, helping around the house, and doing homework in his free time. He plans on going to college to study business management. His favorite football memory is rocking jorts at school on a game day with his fellow teammates. And the accomplishment he is most proud of, and this is a good one, they must have asked this week, is being able to play alongside my brothers under the stadium lights.
Yeah, certainly, and there was a lot of uncertainty, especially in the fall. I remember broadcasting soccer games, and I'd get an hour early before kickoff, and the varsity football team was doing optional workouts out on the turf because they didn't know whether or not when they were going to get that green light, if at all. So these guys are just happy to be able to play in any games in this year. So next up we have number 4, Colt Green, who is, of course, slot receiver and cornerback. Other interests, varsity lacrosse. And Colt, in fact, announced last Friday that he was verbally or officially committing to play lacrosse at Endicott College in Massachusetts. And during his time there, he also plans to study architecture. His favorite football memory was advancing to the sectional finals last year. The accomplishment he's most proud of is having the opportunity to start both on offense and defense for the past 2 years on 2 great football teams.
And we've got Mitchell Greer up next, number 65, made a great move. HFL kind of has the 2 lines set up there, a great spin move to get through the line, which is appropriate because he's a guard and he's a tackle on defense. His other interests include track and fishing. He plans on getting his IT degree in the future. His favorite football memory, and this, you know, it's a lineman talking, is destroying pizza with his linemen. You know, the big guys like to eat, and great memories for them. And his accomplishment he's most proud of is keeping Reese alive.
So Reese Joint is still alive and got the second half of tonight's game off. As next we have 75 Preston Huff, defensive end. Other interests include basketball, working out, and hunting and fishing. He plans to do a 2+2 program consisting of the first 2 years at FLCC, followed by 2 years at Unity College. His favorite football memory is everybody getting haircuts for sectionals, and the most proud accomplishment of Preston is going to the sectional finals game a season ago.
Preston also had a big sack tonight, so a lot of these guys were huge contributors, and none more so than the quarterback here, number 7, Reese Joint. Reese, other interests, he's a 5-sport athlete. We've talked about that. Basketball, baseball, soccer, swimming, and diving are among his interests. He plans to attend SUNY Oneonta and play baseball. His favorite football memory is picking on Quinter every day, except when he yelled at me for it and I had to act ashamed. And his accomplishment he's most proud of is winning gym class hero and being able to overcome all the obstacles so far this year to have a successful senior football season. And he's not lying. What a successful season it's been for these 20 seniors.
And the Quinter he's referring to is, of course, Coach Quinter, who's the defensive line coach. And interesting picking a yearbook superlative as his greatest accomplishment. Next we have for waiting here for the folks at the field to catch up to us. Number 22, Jaden Kuhn, played slot receiver for the Cougars. Other interests include lacrosse and hockey. He's already enlisted in the Marines, and he's due to ship out a few weeks after high school graduation. His favorite football memory, any moment when all the guys came together, whether it be in the locker room to go crazy after a game or on the bus to and from the games. He just really enjoyed when the whole group was together, just guys being dudes. Accomplishment most proud of, making himself useful and allowing himself to help where help is needed for the team. So again, another example of a guy who, maybe didn't get as many snaps as everybody else, but he knows that he can be a value contributor, outside of scoring touchdowns for HFL.
Absolutely. Next up is number 14, Justin Lewis. Justin is a wide receiver. Other interests include lacrosse. His future plans include getting a degree in business. He seems like a breakfast guy, Peter. His favorite football memory is getting morning grub at Critics with the boys. So breakfast is the best meal of the day.
And most important meal of the day. So next, number 6, Patrick Lustig, wide receiver and linebacker here for the Cougars. Other interests include varsity basketball. Future plans are to go to college. His favorite football memory is beating Palmac in the semis last year to reach a championship. I wonder if when he was filling this out, he realized that this was going to be red after tonight's game against Palmac. And as well as Reese Joint, Patrick Lustig selected his senior superlative of being voted next top model as his most proud accomplishment.
We don't see these guys a lot without their helmets on, but you can see Patrick's rocking quite the hairdo, so maybe he's got a shot at that. Next up is number 54, Sam Miller, an offensive and defensive lineman. His other interests, he plays tuba for the HFL Wind Ensemble, and he used to play trumpet for the concert band, so he's musically inclined. His future plans include going to college to become a physical therapist. His favorite football memory are the dinners we got to have last year as a team when they were fun. That's one thing that with COVID, those gatherings aren't allowed, so great cherished memory there. And his favorite accomplishment that he's most proud of is being on the first HFL team to make it to the sectional final.
And his advice, it's going to end sooner or later. Make the most out of it. Sam Miller and family.
So, next up for the Cougars, number 3, Hayden Price, who is unfortunately, as you can see in a cast, he injured his right arm there, and he hasn't been able to suit up for the Cougars. But he would have been playing running back and linebacker for HFL. Other interests include lacrosse and guitar. His future plans include playing football at Buff State. His favorite football memory was scoring his first touchdown in 10th grade versus Waterloo. His accomplishment that he's most proud of is being a part of HFL's first ever sectional final appearance.
Up next, number 60, Michael Sanza. He's a defensive tackle. Michael enjoys hunting, fishing, robotics, and weightlifting. He plans to attend college and pursue an engineering degree. His favorite football memory, every sack, every tackle, and every bus ride home after a win with the boys. You can tell these guys love being together with all these responses, Peter. The accomplishment he's most proud of is being selected as a National Merit Scholarship finalist. So he's pretty good academically, too.
Michael Sanza says to his future players, invest in the weight room.
So next up after Michael Sanza is brother, number 53, Ryan Sanza.
Real cool moment there. It looks like Mom took off the 60 to. She had both jerseys on, 60 and 53.
Yeah, I guess they don't let you cut them in half and sew them together at this level. So here's Ryan Sanza, defensive guard and tackle. Other interests include weightlifting and gaming. He plans to attend the Rochester Institute of Technology for university exploration. His favorite football memory was saying "F yeah" when coach asked him if he wanted to be put in with his brother during a game. The accomplishment he's most proud of is getting into RIT.
So I'm glad we had the PG-13 version ready. So next up, Peter, will be number 71, Matt Schutz. He's an offensive and defensive lineman. And Matt is going to attend SUNY Geneseo to major in accounting. His favorite football memory is winning sectional semifinals last year. That was also against Palmac, tonight's opponent. The accomplishment he's most proud of is being able to be part of school history and making it to the first sectional final game.
So Matt, alongside his parents, I believe, photo op here, and he'll join his senior brethren on the field. And number 9 is up next. That's Mason Wazenreed. Mason, of course, plays wide receiver and defensive back. Other interests include varsity baseball and varsity basketball. And he plans to attend University of Albany Honors College after high school. His favorite football memory was last year's sectional run. The accomplishment he's most proud of is coming together as a team despite all the uncertainty and circumstances.
And that's certainly something to be proud of, because this whole season has been a challenge, and we're great to be at this moment. And I get number 57, our guy, Nolan Big Play Yates. That's what we're going to call him, Peter. He's a defensive end. He enjoys playing baseball and working on the farm. He plans to join the United States Navy after graduation. His favorite football memory is watching Kerry shave Chase's beard last year for sectionals. And the accomplishment he's most proud of is watching how far the football program has come throughout his high school years.
So, I mean, we can say it as much as we want during the broadcast about what these two schools have done to completely change the culture within their respective teams. But, I mean, that right then and there, all those memories, all those proud accomplishments, I mean, it just makes you realize how critical the sport of football is to the development of these young men as they go on to graduate high school and to do bigger and better things. And I'm just glad that they all had the opportunity to have that senior season. I can't say that enough. So that'll do it here at HFL. Final score 51-3 in favor of the Cougars. They go out on top here. Be sure to follow along to the Sentinel, and if there is an exhibition game for the Cougars, we will do our best, if it's home, to broadcast that game. So follow the MHFL Sentinel Facebook, Twitter, Instagram accounts for that information. Also, sectionals just around the corner. We don't know what the plans are in terms of the broadcast schedule for the potential HFL sectional games. We'll hopefully have the answers to that in the coming days as well. So again, just stay tuned in to the Sentinel online, and hopefully we'll have that information for you sooner rather than later. So, Steve, any closing thoughts here before we sign off tonight?
Peter, it's been a pleasure being up here on top of the roof with you and our crew. Thanks to Coach Russ and to Coach Miniman for their help in getting this game together. And I echo your sentiments, just hearing from the seniors about how much this season meant to them. A lot of people did a lot of things and held their breath and crossed their fingers and said some prayers so that this season would happen. And nights like tonight are why people do those things. And it's been great, and hopefully we've got more football to bring your way.
Again, so I want to give a special shout out to our crew that makes these broadcasts possible, our videographer, Caleb Cooley, and the man behind the computer, Luke Mendrick, operates the scoreboard and does all the technical stuff in the background. So a special thanks to them because, in addition to the sponsors, guys like them would not make this whole thing possible. So I'm Peter Carosa, joined alongside Steve Bradley. Until next time, we're signing off. Thanks for tuning in.